Hey everyone. In the last video, I showed you how to connect two PZEM modules together on a single UART connection and connect them to an ESP32. In this video, I was supposed to show you how I will deploy my power monitoring boxes, each with 3 PZEMs. But when I tried to put it together, it failed. And I realized the previous video that I made was wrong entirely. So, in this video, I'll show you how to actually get multiple PZEMs working together with a single ESP32 or a single UART. I have 6 of them lying around for my project, and I'll connect all 6 of them together on a single UART. So, first, I'll explain to you why it wasn't working, and then I'll show you the solution. I will have timestamps below, so if you want to skip ahead to the solution, feel free. So, why wasn't it working? Well, most of the tutorials online for PZEM 004 are about version 3 or earlier, and the current version of PZEM modules is version 4. All of mine are version 4, and it is very common now to find the version 4 of the PZEMs. So, this tutorial will be relevant to you. So, what changed between version 3 and version 4 is that version 3 used to use two optocouplers, those white colored chips. I'll attach pictures on the screen so that it is very clear what's happening. But the version 4 has a digital isolator, an 8-pin digital isolator, which makes a lot of difference. I will also attach a video that I found pretty helpful explaining all the hardware changes between version 3 and version 4. In version 4 of PZEM, the TX line is always pulled high by the PZEM module, which means if it wants to communicate any data, it will pull the line low or to 0 volts. What happens when you connect multiple PZEMs together? For example, when you were connecting two together, what was happening is one of them, when it wants to communicate the data, it pulled the line low, but the other still kept the line high. As a result, the combined voltage was still low enough that the ESP32 was able to interpret it as data. But if you connected one more PZEM into the combination, two of them were high when one of them wanted to communicate any data. So two were high and one was low. That resulted in the line voltage to be very high and it didn't communicate any data in that. So what we need to do is ensure that the line is pulled low when any one of the PZEMs wants to communicate the data. To do that, we can use a diode as well, but I didn't do that. I use a different method using a module called RS485 to TTL module, and I personally think this is the good way of doing PZEM communication to an ESP32. So this is what the PZEM module, the RS485 to TTL module looks like. It has a UART connection here, which connects to your PZEM module. It has three screw terminals here, A, B, and ground, and this is what you connect with each with the other RS485 modules. And you will also need to solder two pins. I have soldered two headers here for VCC and ground to supply power to this board. So I'll show you the wiring in a second. But one more thing that you need to know is you will need the RS485 module for each one of your PZEMs and one more for your ESP32. So you connect this to each PZEM and to the ESP32 and you wire them up in a daisy chain configuration. What that means is the A from each one board will go to the A of the another board and then to another till the last one. Similarly for B and ground. I'll show you how I have configured it in just a second. So that's all you need to know. One more thing is that the RX and TX pins on this board might be different than the regular configuration. So what we usually do is we connect the RX of any board to the TX of any other device because the receiver needs to communicate with the transceiver of another module. But I'm not sure this will be true for all the modules out there. But what happens on my module is I need to connect the RX of the module to the RX of the PZEM or ESP32. So I guess that's all you need to know. I'll show you how I have configured my setup and then I'll give you a demo. Before I show you how to wire the RS485 module to the PZEM, I'll install it in a 3D printed case that I designed for this project. It is a modular case and I designed it myself from different components. I'm not a good 3D designer, so this doesn't work perfectly, but it's good enough for the project. It is modular in design, so what that means is I can screw in and out everything in case I need to repair something. It also has a DIN rail connector at the back, so I can attach it to a DIN rail, and that's how I plan to fix this inside my project box. That way it is very easily swappable in case I need to some repairs. So I'll screw in the PZEM module first, and then I'll show you how I attach the RS485 module to it. Uh, After the PZEM module is installed, the next thing I'll place in it is this sliding mechanism that I've designed. And on this sliding mechanism, the RS485 module will be screwed in. So here's my RS485 module. I've already wired this up with the rest of the PZEMs, so I'll explain that in a moment. First, I'll just screw it in. I have screwed it in. The next thing that I need to wire up is this module to the PZEM module, and for that I've created a small wire. The VCC connects to VCC ground to ground, and the RX on the PZEM board connects to the RX on the RS485 module. Like I mentioned before, the labels are switched on these boards for some reason, so I'll just quickly wire them up. Next, I'll install a cover to this case, and on the cover what I've done is I've 3D printed the label, or what's the label and the Modbus address of the PZEM module. So I can just quickly slide it in and it will stay in place. And then I have got a back cover as well that slides in. Yeah, not the perfect design, but it works. So this is how it looks like when done. I'll attach this to the DIN rail, and I'll assemble all the 6 PZDMs together, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so the entire thing is not fitting in the frame, but I'll see if I can rotate the phone. So this is how it looks like. There are 6 PZDM modules inside each of these cases, and I'll explain to you the wiring. So these black wires, these are for the power, so ignore them. But you see the twisted pair cables like this one, this one. So I've used these temporarily. I'll probably use a cleaner one while deploying. But these are what's connecting the A and B terminals of the RS485 modules. Then there's this wire, for example, this is for the ground. So what happens is the wire from this piece RS485 modules goes into these, and then from this it goes into this, and from here this long wire goes to this PZEM module, then from here to here, and then to here, and then from here this wire comes to the RS485 module connected to the ESP32. I'm also using this wire to power these three PZEMs, and then there's another wire, this one, which is powering these three PZEM modules. This is most of it. This is the connection to the RS485 module to the ESP32, and I'll show you how it looks like on ESPHome. Give me 1 second. So I'll refresh the page here. Okay, I forgot not to refresh. This is my old phone. I'm using this as a screen. So you will see that it's working. Oh, I think one of them broke down because I was messing with it. Give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, so the wire got loose. Now it's fine. I'll refresh it again. Okay, yeah. So now you will see it's working and there's no error as well. So I've connected 6 and this works very fine. Now that I've done with this demo, I'll try and wire this up in my power monitoring box and we'll see how it goes. So that was a demo of the 6 ZDMs working over a single UART. I hope that was helpful to you. I know this is something that's not easily available online how to do. So it took me a while, but I was able to figure it out, and I think this should be helpful to a lot of people. If you still have any questions on the working of this, you can ask me in the comments. In the next video, I'm planning to deploy this in a proper project box in project boxes, actually, one for outside my house and one inside. It will monitor different things. I'll explain that in the next video. So if you have any questions, just ask me and I'll try to answer them. Thank you.